I am Alois Peters, and like many of you, I've been mostly working from home since last spring. So while as an academic, I am probably more used to sitting behind my computer and working on proposals potentially from home, particularly for researchers and PhD students, as it meant a big shift in how you approach your work. So you're probably not used to sitting behind your desk the whole time. You might be doing experiments in the lab in order to vary it. So that's why I wanted to give you a couple of tips which I think might potentially help you in how to work effectively from home. But the first thing I have to say is that we are still in the middle of a pandemic. So it is perfectly okay if there are days when work is not going well. So don't be too harsh on yourself. The first tip I would give you is to get some kind of routine in how you approach your work. Lots of you will be used to having the alarm set to go to work, and now you potentially don't have this anymore, which means you can have a complete shift in how you approach your working pattern. The second tip is to do take some breaks throughout the day, because normally you would be talking to people, you might go for a coffee, so when you would be at the office you would automatically build in some breaks throughout the day, and that actually helps your brain to be more productive. So when you are from home it might seem a bit difficult to do. But do plan these breaks throughout the day, maybe have a virtual coffee with someone, or just go outside for a bit of a walk. In my case, it really helps when I go out during my lunch break, just to get some fresh air and then to get writing again. The third tip I would give you is to make some kind of setup from home where you'll be doing your work. With this working pattern, it's very difficult to distinguish between when you're working and when you're home and relaxing. So it can put a lot of pressure on you into doing loads of work. So what helps for me is to have a particular spot in my apartment where I do my work and where I do my meetings, and when I leave that it feels like I'm relaxing and I'm at home again. I do know that not everyone has access to multiple screens, maybe not the equipment that you want. A proper chair might also be a problem if you don't have a good desk chair. So do think if via your work you can potentially invest in these things, because it will really help you in the longer term. The fourth tip is to set yourself small but manageable goals. Particularly when you're writing your thesis, that end goal seems so far away that it will be very difficult to motivate yourself to just start writing with it. And you've got no idea how much progress you made along the way. So therefore try and break it down into smaller targets, so things that you can actually achieve within a certain time frame. You can even set yourself a small reward when you achieve one of these small goals. But the key to it is make sure that you can actually achieve them, because otherwise you're just going to be disappointed that you still haven't finished a task that you wanted. The fifth tip is about staying connected with people. Because in the end, we're all in this together, so we need to make sure that we try and support each other where possible, and that you don't feel that you're doing this whole project on your own. So you can do this by, for instance, setting up regular virtual coffee breaks, by keeping on discussing the data, and also in my research group we use Slack, where you can communicate with each other just to bounce off the ideas of each other and to keep each other in the loop on what's happening. But communication here is really key, so make sure that you stay in touch with each other. The sixth tip is to get rid of distractions. For me, this would be my WhatsApp, my email constantly pinging, even just, it's very tempting to go to the fridge and get some food. Other people might get distracted by the mess on their desk. So it will vary a lot, and you have to figure out for yourself what is actually distracting you. What in my case really helps, if I know that I need to focus on reading something or marking something, I would just turn off my email for an hour or so, just to give myself a break and to focus fully on one task. However, everyone will work in a very different way, so you have to figure out what works for you, and if that means changing your working pattern in order to fit with working from home, that's perfectly fine. But we are working under very difficult circumstances, and you probably feel that you're running behind with your work because you're not able to access the lab. So where possible, try and adapt your project, look after yourself, and try and make the most of your time working from home. Do have a look at our other videos in the playlist, where we give some tips on how you can write your first research paper, potentially from home, or how you can pick a PhD project that is a good fit for you. Thanks for watching the video.